Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to a slate breakdown of sorts type of screen share video. Today I want to show you guys A, what you're missing by not being members of the DFS Army, and B, a little bit of running through breaking down this slate. I'm hearing a lot of clutter. I had some podcasts going in the background while I was writing chin music today, and I'm telling you, people might be on the wrong track. So I wanted to point this out just to put it out there on record. If I suck, you never have to listen to me again. If I tip you off to a couple of the right plays, give me a shout out. Let's do this thing. Maybe blow this thing up, make it a little more regular deal. I was supposed to fill in on podcast today, but we had technical difficulties yesterday and some technical difficulties again today. So I'm just going to drop this thing out there, try and give you a quick rundown of the slate by myself, and let's just kind of dive in and knock this thing out. In case you're wondering who I am Choppadong. You can find me on Twitter, easy enough, at Choppadong. I put out a slate breakdown of sorts that is generally designed to give you a very, very quick glance at the slate, get you kind of pointed in the right direction. I do this for most of the sports that we cover. I don't do basketball. We've got enough content providers there. I do baseball, hockey. I'll be doing NFL this year, diving in a little bit more to the slates in NFL since we have more prep time. Really kind of excited to get the NFL season started. And if you don't know who I'm affiliated with, I am a member of the DFS Army. DFSArmy.com is where you go to get all of your content. We have VIP memberships, of course, where you can plug in with a bunch of members inside the Slack channels and give a lot of feedback, a lot of questions, answers, a lot of coaching, a lot of brushing up on the fundamentals. We have made a lot of people that are casual DFS players better, more competitive players. That's our goal. Teach you the fundamentals of bankroll management, contest selection, lineup construction, when to be contrarian, when to just eat the chalk, what contests you want to put which lineups in, because we're finding there are a lot of leaks in people's games that are not really understanding what to do. Now, not everybody's like me. Not everybody lies up in bed at night pissing their wife off with the blue glow in her face as you're just reading and reading and reading. I love reading this stuff. I don't dive super deep, but I love reading all the superficial stuff on the surface to get people off to the best start possible. We have guys in the Army that are coaches, Keith Hall, Al Walsh, our buddy Donuts, Burns. We've got other guys in other sports, Taco, Brody, Brady, all these guys that kind of team up. The Football Geek does a lot of our football stuff, and he's really the reason this whole thing started. So if you're looking, and if I left anybody out, I'm sorry. We got like 19 content providers right now inside the DFS Army. That's how much we've grown in the last year. If you are not a member of a community, you are being left in the dust. If your community does not have an optimizer like our domination station, you're being left in the dust. Most of these sites are going computer, are going algorithm, and are going heavy content to teach people how to figure this shit out. They teach people to figure this shit out because people are sick and tired of losing money. If you think you can do this thing on your own and with all of the free information all over the web, okay, you can probably do pretty good. But you're still at a disadvantage. And in today's era, when these games are tightening with their edges and the variance is through the roof, you're getting buried. If you're not growing, you're getting left behind. It's that simple. I saw this happen in the poker industry with all of the education kicking in, with all of the people getting better faster. If you were not able to stay ahead of that curve and have a group of guys that you could lean on to banter ideas back and forth with, unless you were a savant, you were toast. And I promise you, 99.9% of you out there are not savants. I'm sorry, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm not saying you need help to cross the street. I'm saying you're not a genius. I'm not a genius. I can't do this without the help of the Army. I can't do this without the help of my comrades going into battle with me and tipping me off to plays that they find. I can't do all the research myself in a given day, nor can you. So let's kind of dive in and dig through this thing. If you haven't considered this, look in the description of this video for the link. Come to the website. Of course, you can copy it up here. Of course, the link I would prefer you to use is real simple. I'll even type it in for you. Let's go DFSARMY.com. REF3. Because that's my code. If you like what you do, show me the love. They track this stuff, they find this stuff, and they know that what I'm producing is bringing members in. And that helps give me a little pat on the back. So tweet me, retweet me, come to my link, come to my site, do all of this stuff. Let's shut up. Let's dive into what we're really here for, which is the slate breakdown. All right? Let's kill my little guy here. Well, actually, let's look at the chart. Actually, let's do something else first. Let's look at what I wanted to put in chin music today, and I forgot, and I published it. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to go back and change it. I'm just not. All right, I'm pretty freaking lazy too. But this is the kind of stuff we dig in the background, and the kind of stuff that we're always working on inside the Army to bring to you. This is just a real quick Fangraphs snapshot. And I do this periodically when I start seeing the chalk kind of fail. I'm wondering what shifted, who's hot, who's not doing well anymore. These are the teams that have scored the most runs over the last 30 days in baseball. The Cubs, the Rangers, the Twins, the Marlins. That's all Giancarlo's home runs. Reds, Cardinals, Red Sox. These are your teams, that your offenses, when they're finding bad spots, bad pitching, you should be focused on these guys. Look at the Angels in there at number 12. They've faced some bad pitching over the past month or so, and they've been taking advantage of it. How many of you have been on the Angels? How many of you were on the train early? How many of you got on the train yesterday? Yankees, Royals. Yankees are coming back. Yankees had fallen out of this graphic for a little while. The Orioles, they had a real hot West Coast run there for a while. These are the teams, the Reds. Who knew? These are the teams you should be looking towards facing bad pitching. We know the Twins are hot. We know the Cubs are bouncing back. These are the teams you should be looking at, okay? Now, not only who are the teams, write them down. Go back, rewind this video, write them down. Who are the teams that you should be targeting for pitching because they're giving up a lot of runs? These are the offenses that are scoring the runs. Oh, look at there. There's my graphic for that's going to hit for week 1 of the NFL. We've already got the lines up. I'll update them and adjust them. Color-coded from green to red. Green go, red stay away. Let's run back into who is allowing the most runs, who's carrying the higher ERAs. I don't care about earned runs. I care about runs in total because you know what? If you give up 163 earned runs but you give up 174 runs, your defense sucked. Defense is as bad as pitching. If your defense sucks, good for you. I want to take advantage of that. The Reds are also giving up a lot of runs. So whenever the Reds are playing, you might as well just put some Reds in your lineup. You might as well just stack against their pitching because odds are you're going to get something out of it. Detroit Tigers, bad pitching. White Sox, bad pitching. Oakland, bad pitching. Royals, bad pitching. Royals were on the offensive list too. These over the last 30 days are the teams that we are looking for when it comes to who should we be rostering against, who is currently pitching poorly. In some cases, what teams have given up on the year. Look at these teams. Diamondbacks, Astros, they're on the list. Rangers, they're on the list. Mets, Pirates, these guys, man, there's something wrong when these guys are making the list, but I don't care for DFS. I want to jump on them. I want to target some of these offenses. These are two things that none of the touts ever tell you, that none of the people ever show you. These are things that I will talk about periodically inside the Army just to keep you abreast of the situation. If you don't get this kind of crap out there on the web and you've never thought about this yourself, how easy is it to say, who's scoring the most runs in the league right now? Maybe I should pay attention to their offense. They're hot. Who's giving up the most runs? Maybe I should stack against their pitching. That's a pretty fundamental concept, but instead you guys are digging into swinging strike, hard contact, fly ball to ground ball, all this crap when the basic information tells you the story. You want to know who's giving up the most hard contact? The freaking Reds. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I didn't look at the stats, but I bet they're on the list. Why? Because they're giving up a ton of runs. Okay? It's pretty freaking common sense. So anyway, that's quickly what I wanted to show you there. Hey, look at there. Flash on that. There's a little lineup for you. Let's look at the slate really, really quickly. There are no real weather concerns today. Ah, crap. We need to double check that because there might be. I didn't update that part of my graphic, which I usually do. So as I scroll down here through Roto-Grinders, they're another helpful site. I'm looking for rain chances. I'm seeing all green so far. All green so far. God, I don't even see any 10 or 15% chances of rain. Good. Let's run down here real quickly. Another little tidbit for you. Wind blowing in, wind blowing out to the right. So there's a game you might target. 75 degrees, a little bit of humidity. Let's see. Wind blowing in, dome. Wind blowing in, side wind. Great for golf, right? Wind blowing in. Wind blowing in, wind blowing in. 82 and a little bit of humidity, though, in Atlanta. Not a bad hitter's environment if you can get through that wind. Wind blowing in, wind blowing out. Texas, deep wind blowing out, 12 miles per hour. 64 degrees at game time. This is in Oakland, my bad. Oh, 64 degrees tipped me off to that one being in Oakland and not Texas. Texas isn't this cold this time of year. That much I can promise you. But 75% humidity, you know, with a 64-degree temperature, the ball's not necessarily going to fly. Will help with the wind a little bit, so maybe you got yourself a little bit of a hitting environment. 70% humidity is even a little bit better down in L.A., not as much of a wind blowing out, but these are the other signs that you can look for. Wind blowing out. West Coast wind is blowing out everywhere, apparently. And when you can find some decent temperatures with some decent humidity, follow our buddy DFS Weather, and you will find that he talks about air density and things like that being good hitting environments. Looks like West Coast might not be terrible hitting environments tonight like it usually is. Doesn't mean you should go stacking up hitters on that criteria alone, but it means if you find a good offense facing a bad pitcher with some hot bats inside that offense and have got a good hitting environment, another green light for you. Another box to check. Another factor telling you he's in a good spot. Okay? Go back to the graphic here, since it looks like all this stuff was right. How about that? You're looking at who's favored, and you're looking at for pitching, we're looking for green numbers. Who's heavily favored? Okay, so I'm automatically going to jump into Arizona and look at Greinke. I'm going to jump out to LA and look at Kenta Maeda. Okay, over-unders for bats. This is how you read this graphic. Yellow and red, bad, green, good. So we might want to look at the Boston-Baltimore game. All right, so we're looking at maybe some Toronto pitching, maybe some Cubby pitching. We're looking at Arizona and LA for sure for pitching, maybe St. Louis. And we're going to stay off of a lot of these bats in these lower games like out here in LA for whatever reason, even though we saw the wind was blowing out and the temperature looked okay. We might want to kind of contemplate staying off of those bats. The game's not scheduled to score. Vegas knows more than we do, guys. All right, so let's kill this. Let's move into some of the lineups. Actually, let's go into chin music. Let me point out what I do in here. There's my graphic. Okay, tell you a little bit about the columns. Tell you to follow DFS Weather. Guys in Slack too in our VIP channels where he gives a lot more details than he gives you guys out in public. Just saying. Pitchers for winning lineups. Guys, these are the pitchers that I find. I use the First Look article by Notorious on Roto Grinders. This dude is amazing. If you don't follow his articles, then you're doing it wrong. But it's very easy to read. It's where I start my research most mornings. I'll sort by K percentage. I'll go down these pitchers, and I do something a little bit differently. This is where I don't even look at this noise over here very often anyway. I'm looking for the highest K percentage pitcher on the slate. I want strikeouts. When I got a pitcher that's running high strikeouts, generally speaking, he's a Vegas favorite, and generally speaking, he's high priced. But I'm looking for a combination of the team that strikes out the most facing the guy that strikes people out, the price, and Vegas. If I can find those three factors, the best combination of those three factors, I'm golden. I've generally found myself a good pitcher. It was Chris Sale last night. Sorry. Chris Sale sucked. I told you guys to go to Carlos Martinez and contemplate him over Sale. And I even told people if Sale's prone to blowing up, that you should be looking at Trevor Bauer. I'm not saying that I'm a savant. Don't get me wrong. I'm as dumb as everybody else. But that spot last night wasn't really all that safe. You could run Sale in cash because he was going to be highly owned. But in tournaments, it made a hell of a lot of sense to pivot off of that guy and go with somebody like Bauer or somebody else. If you did that, good for you. You probably made a little bit of money. Most people lost their ass last night because of the way Sale imploded. What we're looking for, again, is the highest strikeout pitchers. So I will sort these guys, and now I'm looking for who they're matching up against. And I'm starting to add these two columns together. 28.4, 20.2. That's a 48.6 or a 486. I call that K-score. You want to talk more about it? Become a VIP in the Army. I'm looking for the Vegas lines to be heavily favored. I'm just going to go down this list and point out who I think are in good spots. And then what I know about them. I'll cross-check a couple of other references, and we'll move on. But once I get down into here, into the Chase Anderson plus 185 out of Vegas. No, sorry. I don't care that he's got a 450 K-score. I don't even care he's 10.6% swinging strikes. Screw that shit. I don't need to know that. I know that Vegas says he sucks and they're probably going to lose the game tonight. So while who's going to go up against one of the most powerful offenses with their pitcher? If you're a tournament contrarian, go for it. Nobody else is going to be on Chase Anderson tonight. If he has a good game, good. I'll take my chances. Out of 100 lineup, every 100 times he faces the LA Dodgers, he's not going to test his ceiling but twice. You know, he's not good for cash games, that's for sure. So it's not where I'm starting tonight. Verlander got a little bit of Vegas love, 22.6. There's a 456 K score, but look, his Sierra and his ERA aren't that great. His price is up there too. Who can I find for cheaper than this that has a similar K score in Vegas love? How about Kenta Maeda? Look at that. He's facing the Milwaukee Brewers, 25% strikeout rate. He's got a 24% strikeout rate of his own. That's a 497 K score. It's nearly 500. He's $1,000 cheaper than Justin Verlander, and Vegas likes him more. Duh. Let that sink in for a second. Duh. It isn't difficult to pick these guys. So when you go into Chin Music and you're reading through, you want to know where I came up with these guys, that's all I did. I sorted these columns out. Look at the salary, 180, 486, Washington, big off, I don't know. If I look at DeGrom's history lately, I tell you right in here, he's been ranging his last 4 starts from a 19 to a 57. That's not cash safe. I don't know what I'm getting out of the guy. Zach Greinke, almost the same, big Vegas favorite here. So that kind of tells me I should look at him. A little bit lower K score, a little bit lower price. I don't know. Giants, they don't really strike out a ton, but they're not very good this year. I don't know. Zach Greinke's at home. I went back and I looked at Greinke and saw his history. You got to go back to April of 16 before he scored over 30 points versus San Francisco. You guys like BVP on bats? How about like PVB for pitching? I mean, if the guy sucks against a team over his last 4 or 5 starts, he's not safe. Most of the people in the world, I mean, there are only 3 of you that are going to listen to this little miniature video I'm doing. You guys have the advantage because there's 2 pitchers right at the top people are going to reach for because they read all the articles that say, hey, on FanDuel, don't F with pitching. Just take the top pitchers and roll on. If Vegas likes them and they strike people out, go for it. No, suck it, man. Dig in just a little bit and double check and make sure that's right. In this case, it's not. It's not safe. Could DeGrom throw 60 points out there tonight? Yes. Will he? I don't know. He's been too up and down lately for me to feel comfortable with it. Greinke, same way. History against San Francisco sucked lately. Minus 240 out of Vegas. All right, maybe Vegas knows something I don't. Maybe he ate his Wheaties today. I have no freaking clue. What I do know is that his last 4 or 5 starts against San Francisco have sucked. Get off of him in cash. You want to take a tournament shot on him? Go for it. I'm not. Jose Quintana lately, up and down and up and down, but Quintana has been trending back up. 15, 22, 30, 46 are his last 4 fantasy scores. So maybe he's getting back up to where I can handle him. But at 46, damn, you better be testing that 46 for $9,000. Vegas tells me he's favored. So he's favored okay. Not a huge favorite. K score's down a little bit. I mean, that's not great. I don't know. Is there something better out? Look, now we're back to Maeda again. Cheaper, 8,700. Better in Vegas, 185. Better than DeGrom in Vegas, 497. Better than DeGrom's the only one that holds a candle to the guy in strikeout potential, and he's facing the freaking Brewers. There's no reason why Kenta Maeda isn't the lead pitcher tonight, but he's not going to be. People are probably going to reach for DeGrom, Greinke, whatever. Quintana will probably be forgotten. Michael Wacha will probably be forgotten. Wacha's not great right now, guys. He breaks down at the end of the year. He's tired. He's weak physically in the shoulders, injuries, and stuff like that. It's just not a good spot for him. St. Louis's bullpen sucks too, so his win is in jeopardy. He's not striking people out like he was 3-4 weeks ago, so his upside is just not going to get tested. Just get off of him. He's not even a tournament play. If you want to read the write-up on him, it's right here. Actually, it's my Ride the Lightning play. If you want to find out why I read the write-up. You want to try you want to get more information like this and try the Army? Here you go. Got some links. You want to try a new site or two? You get a free month inside the Army. Click these links inside the article, right? Very simple. Go to this link up here, click these links, in you go. Or read the article, click this link to sign up for a VIP membership of the Army, and just go straight away. Soft pitching to attack. I look for Sierras over 5.0. Where do I find them? I go back to Notorious. I sort by Sierra. There it is. Right there. And I'm just focused on these guys. I tend to lean more as the data has piled in through the season. I tend to lean more on whose ERA is also above their Sierra. I mean, not who's sucking with high Sierras, but who's sucking hard. I mean, who's sucking the chrome off the bumper hitches. They're sucking so freaking hard, Dyson ain't got nothing on them, right? These are the guys that I'm looking for to target. Now, ERA is a little under here. Miguel Gonzalez, okay. Bad Sierra, but he's pitching better than his Sierra. Is he going to come up to his Sierra tonight? Probably not. He's had a whole season to come up to his Sierra. He might be a little bit better this year. Same target, same target, same target. It's worse. A point worse. Robert Stevenson, sorry, Pittsburgh is firmly in play tonight. Same target. Little bit better. So Block, maybe not the target that you were thinking, but he's not a great pitcher based on ERA and Sierra, and he's facing Arizona at home. Okay? Worse, way worse. Bartolo Colon, old man Colon, dude is stale. He is a target. Go into Toronto's offense, see if you can find who hits Colon well. I guarantee you there's some history there. See who's running hot the last week or 2 weeks with their bat. Those are the guys you look to first. But really and truly, they're kind of all in play. I just have my favorites when I look into those numbers a little bit deeper. Let's dive in. Travis Wood, Miami, in play tonight. Travis Wood, not good. Okay? Here's one I would probably avoid. Parker Bridwell. Yeah. You hear about the Bridwell blow-up, blah, blah, blah. He's got a 5 Sierra, but his ERA right now is a 2.88. He's due to blow up. There's no doubt about it, but he hadn't done it yet. Not necessarily a target. Would it shock me if Houston went off tonight? No. It's Houston. But am I expecting it? Nah, not really. So again, you sift through these things. You start picking out offenses that you like. You got 15 to choose from. Okay? Let's roll down a little bit further to the implied run totals. And if Vegas would get off their ass and release some of these things, it would help us peg some of these offenses, although I'm not really high on these guys. Boston, okay, look over here. Boston's left-handed bats are better than their right-handed bats based on Nick Martinez being better against right-handed hitters. All right? You don't need to necessarily look at all their splits and crap and spend hours and hours and hours. This tells you what you need to know. Thanks, Notorious. You demand. So if I'm going to take Boston bats, I'm going to focus on the left side. Right side, not terrible, but I'm going to focus on the left side. Arizona, I'm absolutely focused on right-handed bats. It looks like Ty Block doesn't. Lefties just don't do well against him. So why would I put a lefty in my lineup? If I go to the starting lineups and scroll down to Arizona, Peralta out. The rest of them are in play. They're all righties. But David Peralta out. If the manager knew what he was doing, he'd see that and he'd put him down in the 5-hole or 6-hole like he usually does for bad splits days. So this is what I'm doing. Oakland Athletics, good spot. Both sides of the plate hit the pitcher. Okay? And they're not implied to score a lot of runs yet, but they should have a decent run. Nick Martinez was a soft pitcher, had an over 5 Sierra. So you can find more of this. There's an okay one. Who's at? Toronto, duh, against Cologne. Both sides of the plate are in play. Here's one where both sides are not in play. Eichhoff gets the right-handers out, doesn't do so well against the lefties. So guess who I'm rostering against him? Cubs lefties. Pirates, both sides in play. 381 average and a 373 average against Robert Stevenson. Stevenson is not getting many people out. Pittsburgh in play. This is how you determine this stuff. It isn't rocket science. If a dumbass like me can do it, so can you. In fact, I'm teaching you how to fish. I am ruining my own job security. You probably don't even need me anymore. But if you do need me and you like me, you just keep following Chin Music. Over the Sierra, that's where these guys come from. These are the bats they're facing. I'm looking for these guys to hit the high IRTs, the high run totals of the day. And I even highlight the soft pitching for you when the team is facing soft pitching. I don't give everything to you. You got to do some of the work. I help my VIPs more. We do a lot of one-on-one coaching over here in Slack channels. We've got our own little comment section here, and I help people via private messages all the time. It's what I do. It's what I enjoy doing. Again, if you want that kind of help, be a VIP. I give it out inside the Army all the time. These are the focus points. The caps guys are running hot. The lowercase guys are still playable. The guys in italics have good BVP against the pitcher they're facing. Okay, I did a little bit of the work for you. If you went through here and built a lineup with Goldie, Drury, Happ, well, you can't because he's a second baseman. Say Goldie, Happ, Bryant, Avila, and then came down here for some cheap bats and threw Marte, Frazier, Moroff in your outfield. Maybe ran with Harrison over Happ because of the price. And then throw a little Boog, a little Joyce, whatever in there. You throw these guys in there, dude, I'm telling you, you're in as good a spot as you're going to be. Are you going to win? I don't know. It's a round ball hitting a round bat that starts off at your head and lands in the dirt. It's not easy to do. We're banking on 9 guys on our team that maybe hit the ball well 30% of the time. 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%, 30%, all having a good night at the same time at the same night. That's like a solar eclipse, man. It's rare. Okay? But you do the best you can with what you got. You find the guys that are in the best positions and you load them up. We don't need to dig too much further, do we? I mean, I don't know about you. I'm kind of having fun talking to you. But if I went into the Chicago offense, what did I say? Who do we focus on in Chicago? Lefties, right? So let's open up the versus right-handed slots. This is what I do in the morning before our stuff in DFS Army gets updated. If you want to do this with me, it's great. But the stuff changes. As that stuff gets loaded and there are smarter guys working on the back end inside the DFS Army, providing our VIP members great content and great statistics and number crunching, when those guys get their numbers compiled for the day, my stuff sometimes changes. I look at that too. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just getting a glance today early, and then I formulate my opinions kind of where I want to go, and then I wait for more data to come out, and then I'm trying to figure out from there, does it match up with what I'm thinking? If it does, I feel better about my lineups. If not, it gives me stuff to think about. And I'm going to probably lean on the guys that are smarter than me than I am on myself most of the time. Why? That just seems smart to me. If I could talk rocket science with you and you knew way more about it than I am, I'm going to sit down with a pen and paper. I'm going to take notes. I'm not going to sit there and try and tell you about my theories of black holes and dark matter and crap like that. You're going to laugh at me with the theories I come up with. You're the professional. You're the expert. I'm going to listen to you. Okay? The way we go about this with the Chicago left-handed bats is the first thing we're going to do is sort by 4 weeks. You can look at season numbers for baselines, but I sort by 4 weeks. I shift down to OPS, and I run down looking for the hot bats. Who over the last month has been hot against right-handed bats? Okay? Ian Happ. Crap, where'd he go? Did he get hurt? That's going to suck if he did. My bad for not being current. When I put my names on the list, it's your job to make sure they're in the lineup that night because I'm putting this stuff out early in the morning. I don't even know what the lineup's going to be. I'm just telling you who's hot and who's not. Chris Bryant, righty. We know that Eichhoff handles righties. Might not be on to him. Rizzo, lefty. Ding, ding, ding. Is Rizzo on this list? Rizzo's got a 900 ops. He's getting on base 40% of the time. He's got an over 200 ISO. OPS 908. If you like me and you go by OB ISO, add OBP and ISO together, you got a 622. That's elite. 3 bombs in the last month. 18 hits out of 63 at-bats. Let's cross-check him. Let's go last week and see if he's doing better than 900 ops. Rizzo, 694. Nope. Cooled off. Cooled off. 3 for 16, no bombs. It doesn't tell me he's a shit play tonight. I mean, it's Rizzo, right? I mean, the guy's a good hitter. He's going to come back off of that. I mean, if you go back and look at his season numbers. Let's look at his season numbers and let's sort by OPS. And Rizzo's an 835 on the season. So over the last 4 weeks, he was running hotter than his season average. Over the last week, he's running below his season average. He's cold right now. Doesn't mean he's not playable, but to me it means he's not cash safe. So if I scroll down a little bit more, Happ is still hot. Avila is running pretty good. But look at all these Cubs. These Cubs are, over the last week, are not so strong right now. That might change your mind a little bit. Another thing you can do is you can run in here to the BVP numbers. Let's see how they do against Eichhoff directly. See if they've got any history built up. 8, 7, 8, 12 at bats. Sort by OPS again. Avila 1 for 2 with a dong. Okay, don't jump on that as gospel. I don't know what that meant. Sample's way too small. 3 out of 7. Okay. I mean, if I'm looking for a cheap outfielder, Hayward might be in play. Hayward's running a little hot right now too, or has been. 1 for 5 with a dong on Schwarber. Does that mean that he's got great BVP on the guy? No. It means that he ran into one in 5 at bats. 3 for 12 for Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant's not hitting him well. This is starting to become a sample. 1 for 11. Rizzo's not hitting him well. This is starting to become. I'm getting a little more bearish on the Cubs tonight. I liked them at the beginning, but the more I dig into these numbers, the more I start looking and thinking about this sort of stuff, the more I don't really like them that much. Could they burn me and go off for 8 runs tonight? Absolutely. But the numbers that I just looked at are telling me they don't like Eichhoff. Eichhoff handles right-handed bats. The left-handed bats should do okay, but none of them are running hot. Other than Happ, I don't know if he bats right-handed or left-handed. Maybe a Cub fan can tell me. I'll look at it later when the lineup's released. Let's run over to Toronto. They're another one that we had kind of on the target today. Facing Bartolo Colon, right? These are our bats. Bartolo Colon gives up both sides pretty equally. So let's jump in. Remember, if you want to look at season baselines, you can see that they're not having a great year. Nobody's even opting 900. So we go 4 weeks and see if anybody's running hot for now. Anyone running over 900-ish? Oh, Josh Donaldson, shocker. Steve Pearce, shocker. Carrera, if he gets the start. And then a bunch of schlubs. See what I'm doing here? I'm going to be focused on these 3 guys tonight. I'm going to go last week, and I'm going to see if they're still running hot. Pearce, Carrera, and Donaldson. Donaldson fell off a cliff, didn't he? Where's he been? When people tell you Donaldson's running hot and Donaldson's in a great spot tonight, okay, they're kind of right. He's been hot over the last month, but they're not looking recently enough at the last week. He ain't hot right now. 3 for 21. 3 for 21. Yeah, 2 bombs. That's what's cluttering everybody's mind. 3 for 21. He's getting on base 25% of the time. Pass. For the price. He might burn me and hit one tonight, but I'm telling you, the spot he's in logically doesn't make sense unless we click on the BVP here and we find out he crushes Cologne. Then I might get back on him. Donaldson, 2 for 7 with 1 extra base hit. Nothing to excite me there. What does it? This doesn't. 4 for 23 doesn't excite me. You know, it's a 208 on base and a 130 ISO. Yuck. Okay, not 1 for 7 for Carrera, who was running hot. I don't even see Pearce in there. Doesn't look like he has any. You know, if I wanted to look at somebody, I'd look at Joey Bats. Joey Bats has been awful all year long, but he hits Cologne well. He's not running hot right now. It's risky. It's not a cash safe play. I don't know where these 18 at-bats or the 6 for 18 came from. Did it come from, you know, this year or last year? Or did it come from 8 years ago? They were both in the league a few years back. Maybe it's old news. 1 for 4, 3 for 5 for Pilar. Small sample, but you know, at least it's something. 5 for 21 with a dong. It's okay. Nothing to get too excited about. So these Toronto bats, I don't know. Not super exciting. Let's go down to Pittsburgh. See who's running hot in this offense. And then we'll probably wrap it up after this. Because half of you are probably falling asleep anyway. On the season, suckage. Right? But anyone can get hot in any given moment. Pittsburgh's in a great spot tonight. Are they hot? Moroff is okay. 2 for 5 with a bomb in the last month versus handedness. If he draws to start tonight, I play him. Josh Bell, 20 for 60, a 432 on base, 200 ISO for a 982 OPS with 2 bombs and 7 extra base hits in there. Hello. And 187 fantasy points over the last month versus this handedness of pitching. I love me some Josh Bell. The numbers are bearing out. Marte, 2369, 378 on base, 871 ops, playable. Adam Frazier, 20 of 63, 358 on base, 834 ops, playable. See what I'm doing? Harrison, 271. If his ops is low, I want to see a big OP or OBP. I don't see it. The rest of these guys cooled off. Sorry, schlubs. Let's go last week and see if some of the same names pop forward. Ozuna, small sample size. Marte. Okay. Marte's running hot. 3 extra base hits, 2 dongs, 8 for 17. 500 OBP for Starling Marte. I like it. Moroff, 1 for 4 with a dong. If he starts, it might be worth a shot. Adam Frazier, 5 for 14, 438 OBP, 1,000 ops with a dong. Okay. Josh Bell, 5 for 15, 412 OBP, 1,000 ops with a dong. Hello, I like Josh Bell. This just confirms he's still running kind of hot. I like him. Josh Harrison, about the same. A little better ops. Kutch, freeze, suck, sorry, out. Don't need you. Again, will they surprise me? They might, but by the numbers, by the recent numbers, they're not telling me that they're running hot. Have any of them faced Robert Stevenson? Yeah, a little bit. Let's see, nothing. 950 for Gregory Polanco. 7 at-bats for Jaso. 3 of 8, 444, 944 ops with an extra base hit, 3 out of 8. Josh Bell. Josh Bell hit all 3 charts with decent numbers. Small sample, but still decent. And he's running hot right now. Give me a hot bat that's facing a pitcher he's hit well before. I like it. I'll take a small sample on that size. I like it. McCutchen, hits him okay, but Kutch is running cold right now. You know? Marte is running hot right now, but he's 1 for 4 against him. I don't know how which one's gonna win there. I'd probably go with his hot numbers because 1 for 4 is such a small sample size. Anybody can go 1 for 4. So anyway, that's basically how I start putting this stuff together. And I scroll through the slate and I start looking and picking and looking for matchups and looking for numbers. And I use these very superficial numbers to do it. And you know what's funny? Most of the time I find the same players everybody else finds that preaches all these specific stats. Specific stats are great, but lean on Vegas. Dig into the basics, your OBP, your OPS, your BVP versus bad, 4-week numbers, 1-week numbers. Look who's running hot. Target pitchers with high Sierras, with high ERAs. Look for ballparks where the wind is blowing out. Look for green lights. Start checking the boxes. This team's in a good spot facing a bad pitcher. They've got a couple bats in their offense that are running hot. These bats actually have good history against this pitcher. Oh, it's also hot, humid with the wind blowing out tonight, and Vegas thinks the game's going to go off. That's a perfect storm. They might only score 2 runs tonight, but odds are the game has a better chance of going off than something else. Okay? Again, very in-depth look. Hopefully tipped you off to a few things today. If you liked it, let me know. Drop me a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, whatever. More importantly, subscribe to the Army. We can go into even more detail. Football's coming. You got more coaches. You got more content providers. Read us all. Poke through the site. If you love us, sign up. We'd love to have you as one of our members. All right, boys. We're out.